welcome back to my channel. Today we're going to be doing a review on the MAC Powder Kiss Velvet Blur Slim Lipsticks. If you do want to see a review and a demo, then please keep watching. As a huge favor, if you like this video, give it a thumbs up and comment anything down below. I greatly appreciate it. I read all the comments and I will do my best to reply back. Each lipstick retails for $27 on MAC's website, Ulta Beauty, Macy's, and wherever else MAC Cosmetics is sold. I purchased all 23 shades in this collection. I do want to read a little bit about these lipsticks on MAC's website. Experience moisture matte to the max with our new Powder Kiss Velvet Blur Slim Lipstick. 12 hours of on-trend, mega bold color and ultra weightless wear in a single velvet soft swipe. The more you powder kissed, the softer, the smoother, the suppler your lips will be. Designed for all-day wear plus care. This lipstick will hydrate your lips instantly and over time. Introduce your lips to Powder Kiss's bolder sister. Here's a closer look on what the packaging looks like. It says MAC Powder Kiss Velvet Blur Slim Lipstick. You get 0.07 ounces or 2 grams of product. On the other side, it says Powder Kiss Velvet Blur Slim Lipstick. Underneath that, it states it was made in the USA. On the back, you have the list of ingredients, and then you have the barcode printed on the other side. Up at the top, you have the shade name printed. This shade is called 882 All-Star Anise. I like how slim the lipstick tube is. It says MAC, and then on the bottom you have the shade name printed. Here's how much product comes inside of the tube. All-Star Anise is described as an orangey brown. Wow, that's pigmented. It does have a slight vanilla scent, like their iconic lipsticks. It smells very good. Here's what the shade in All-Star Anise looks like. This shade is gorgeous. I did not have to apply a second coat. It's pigmented with one layer. The next shade is called 899 Brickthrough. Brickthrough is described as a warm, dusty rose. Another beautiful shade. Here's what the shade in Brickthrough looks like. This shade isn't as pigmented as the first shade. You can see my natural lip peeking through. I want to see what a second layer looks like. Here's what 2 coats looks like. I definitely prefer 2 layers. The next shade is called 877 Devoted to Chili. Devoted to Chili is described as a warm brick red. That shade is pretty as well. Here's what the shade in Devoted to Chili looks like. Again, you can see my natural lip peeking through. Let's apply a second layer. Here we have 2 layers. I don't like how red looks on me, but this shade is really pretty. The next shade is 878 Dubonnet Buzz. Dubonnet Buzz is described as a deep red wine. Another pretty shade. Here's what the shade in Dubonnet Buzz looks like. Again, this shade isn't one swipe pigmented. Let's build it up. Here's what 2 layers looks like. This shade is pretty. The next shade is 894 Gingerella. Gingerella is described as a light orange coral. That shade is really pretty. Here's what the shade in Gingerella looks like. This shade is too orange for my liking. Let's see what a second layer looks like. Here's what 2 coats looks like. Again, I prefer 2 layers. The next shade is 896 Hot Paprika. Hot Paprika is described as a bright, vivid orange. That shade is Vibrant. Here's what the shade in Hot Paprika looks like. Again, this shade is too bright for me. Let's apply a second layer. Here we have 2 layers. Again, this shade is too loud for me. The next shade is 879 Love Clove. Love Clove is described as a deep, warm red. That shade is gorgeous. Here's what the shade in Love Clove looks like. This shade is stunning, and it's one swipe pigmented. I don't have to apply a second coat. The next shade is 886 Marrakeshmere. Marrakeshmere is described as an intense orange brown. That shade is beautiful. Here's what the shade in Marrakeshmere looks like. This shade is beautiful. You can see a little bit of my natural lip peeking through from my top upper lip. I want to apply a second coat. Here's what 2 layers looks like. 2 layers is perfect. The next shade is 891 Mullet Over. Mullet Over is described as a dirty peach. This shade looks a little bit too light for my skin tone, but let's see what it looks like applied on the lips. Here's what the shade in Mullet Over looks like. This shade is actually not too bad. Let's see what a second coat looks like. Here's what 2 layers looks like. This shade is actually too light for me. The next shade is 876 Nice Spice. Nice Spice is described as a soft pinky red. Another pretty shade. Here's what the shade in Nice Spice looks like. I actually really like this shade. Let's apply a second layer. Here we have 2 coats. I don't know why I like this red shade on me. It's really pretty. The next shade is called 884 Nutmeg Ganache. Nutmeg Ganache is described as a warm brown. I love shades like this. Here's what the shade in Nutmeg Ganache looks like. I love warm colors like this. I want to apply a second coat just to see what it looks like. Here's what 2 layers looks like. Everyone should have a shade like this in their collection. This shade is gorgeous. The next shade is 892 Over the Taupe. Over the Taupe is described as a mid-tone dirty nude. I really like that shade. Here's what the shade in Over the Taupe looks like. Let's see what it looks like built up. Here's what 2 layers looks like. I love this shade. Here's what the first set of colors look like swatched on the back of my hand. These do transfer. Next up, we have the shade in 887 Peppery Pink. Peppery Pink is described as a soft, warm pink. Another pretty color. Here's what the shade in Peppery Pink looks like. This shade is so pretty. Let's apply a second layer. Here's what 2 layers looks like. This shade is so pretty. It's not too warm pink or light pink, it's the perfect pink for me. The next shade is called 885 Pumpkin Spiced. Pumpkin Spiced is described as a spicy orange. That's a pretty color. Here's what the shade in Pumpkin Spice looks like. Another beautiful shade. Let's build it up. Here we have 2 layers. I love this color. The next shade is 880 Rosemary. Rosemary is described as a soft mauve. That shade is gorgeous. Here's what the shade in Rosemary looks like. This shade is so pretty. Let's apply a second coat. Here's what 2 layers looks like. This shade is stunning. The next color is an 889 Ruby New. Ruby New is described as a vivid blue red. I'm not really into reds, but let's see what this looks like on the lips. Here's what the shade in Ruby New looks like. I expected this red shade to be a bit more pigmented. Let's build it up. Here's what 2 coats looks like. Again, I'm not a huge fan of how red looks on me. The next shade is called 898 Sheer Outrage. Sheer Outrage is described as a grapefruit pink. This shade might be a little bit too light on me, but let's see what it looks like. Here's what the shade in Sheer Outrage looks like. This shade is not the vibe for me, but let's apply a second coat. Here's what 2 layers looks like. Again, this shade is not for me. The next shade is called 895 Sorry Not Sorry. Sorry Not Sorry is described as a dirty pumpkin orange. That shade is so pretty. Here's what the shade in Sorry Not Sorry looks like. I actually really like this shade. I don't have to build it up. The next shade is called 883 Spice World. Spice World is described as a mid-tone brown. Another beautiful shade. Here's what the shade in Spice World looks like. This shade is perfect for every day. Let's build it up. Here's what 2 layers looks like. This shade is stunning. The next shade is 897 Stay Curious. Stay Curious is described as a pinky red. Really pretty. Here's what the shade in Stay Curious looks like. This shade is a little bit too pinky for my liking. Let's see what a second coat looks like. Here we have 2 layers. Again, this shade is not for me. The next shade is called 893 Sweet Cinnamon. Sweet Cinnamon is described as a mid-tone warm peachy nude. That shade is pretty as well. Here's what the shade in Sweet Cinnamon looks like. Let's apply a second layer. Here's what 2 layers looks like. This shade is so pretty. The next shade is called 890 Wild Sumac. I wasn't able to find a shade description for Wild Sumac, but here's what it looks like. This shade is too pinky for me. Here's what the shade in Wild Sumac looks like. It's definitely too pinky for my liking. Let's see what a second layer looks like. Here's what 2 layers looks like. Again, it's a little bit too vibrant for me. The last shade is called 881 Wild Rebel. Wild Rebel is described as a mid-tone plum. Here's what the shade in Wild Rebel looks like. This shade is so pretty, but I wish it had a little bit more pigment to it. Let's see what a second coat looks like. Here we have 2 layers. This shade is beautiful. I do want to do a kiss test on the back of my hand to see how much product transfers. Here's how much product came off on the back of my hand. Here's what my lips look like after the kiss test. Not too bad. Here's what the last few shades look like swatched on the back of my hand. And again, we have some transfer. I will be wearing this shade in Wild Rebel throughout my entire day, and I will leave below in the description box how it wears. I love 3 shades in this collection. These 3 shades are Love Clove, Nutmeg Ganache, and All Star Anise. These 3 shades are worth the price in my opinion. It's one swipe pigmented, and I like these colors. There are 3 things that I look for in a lipstick. Is it pigmented? Is it going to cover up my top upper lip? Is it going to be even, or is it going to look uneven like this lipstick is making my lips look currently? The second thing I look for in a lipstick is the formula. Is it comfortable? Is it going to bleed everywhere? Is it going to end up on my teeth? Do I need to babysit my lipstick? You guys know what I'm talking about. The last thing I look for in a lipstick is wearability. How long will the formula last on my lips? These lipsticks claim to be 12 hours of wear time. We'll definitely see about that. Again, I will leave below in the description box how it wears. Those 3 things I always look for whenever I purchase a lipstick. The wearability, is it comfortable, and is it pigmented? I found a few lipsticks that fall into that category. Other lipsticks, they don't meet that criteria. This collection only has 1 out of the 3 things I'm looking for. Currently, this formula is comfortable, which I do really like. We'll definitely have to test out the wear time. The pigmentation is not there for me. These 9 shades I liked, but it's not one swipe pigmented. I did have to build it up. These 9 shades are Sorry Not Sorry, Mara Cashmere, Rosemary, Sweet Cinnamon, Pumpkin Spiced, Peppery Pink, Over the Taupe, Nice Spice, and Wild Rebel. These 10 shades I did not like at all. These 10 shades are Gingerella, Devoted to Chili, Dubonnet Buzz, Sheer Outrage, Ruby New, Wild Sumac, Stay Curious, Hot Paprika, and Mullet Over. I want to give a shout out to my subscriber that requested this review. If you want me to review a product, leave a comment down below. I thought I purchased all 23 shades. I'm looking on their website. It looks like there's 24 shades in this collection. MAC owes me a lipstick. I'm gonna have to email them. Let me know in the comments down below which shade was your favorite. If you guys did enjoy this video, please go ahead and give it a thumbs up. And if you haven't already, please do subscribe. I will see you guys in my next video.